All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Mikestand. We're just going to give people some time to see come in. I hope everybody's having a good week. I know we've reached the middle of the week. We reached hump day. So hope everybody's had a good week thus far. And I hope you continue to have a good week. As I said, we're just going to wait a few minutes, give people a chance to come in. Hope everybody's having a nice day today. And I know here in SoCal, it's been pretty, we're up in the low 90s today, like 93, I think, was the high. So, Coach, what's your handle? C of. All right, let me try. What's your favorite C of Oak? Um, I don't know. I don't even know what you're referring to. Sorry about that. Code 66 Gaming. I don't even know what you're even referring to there. If it's some kind of video game or anime, I may just not have heard of it before. Welcome to the stream. We're just giving people a chance to try to come in. Hope you'll stick around because you have plenty of neat news to go through tonight. We'll get some anime in there as well. Oh, Jason's here too. Let's see. Yeah, his message isn't coming up as of yet. Anything. You delete him from YouTube, but I can still sometimes see him on the StreamYard. There's Jason. What's your favorite Raw joke? Oh, I don't have a. Oh boy, Jason, I don't have a favorite Raw sewage plant. Where do you guys come up with these questions? We focus on niche here. Anime, cartoons, comics, manga, pro wrestling. Where'd that one come from? All along the watchtower. Huh. All right. Yeah, we've been kind of silent here because I have had actually a couple people comment before I commented here. So, anyways, gotta catch 'em all. Gotta catch 'em all. Pokemon. I wanna be the very best, like no one ever was, ever was, ever was. Catch 'em is my real test. Train them is my cause. My whole life has led to this. Time to test my skills. I know I just can't win, but you're sure the one. Born to be a winner, Johto. Born to be a champion. Born to be a winner. Born to be the very best. Pokemon Johto. Born to be a winner. Pokemon. No one ever was ever. I mean, I'll be right. Starting off with the going to be starting off tonight. Anyway, walking through this town in a faceless crowd, want to see the touch of a friend. In the countryside, I wander far and wide. The isolation gets me again. I don't know where to go when I feel like crying. Oh my, time to open myself. Do something new, I want to stop and grow up a bit. And suddenly my intuition and my wisdom grow. And then I know that most of all can be. Huh. All right, well, we're at like 9:30, so normally I would have already started. So, okay, so now we're coming up on 10 minutes, so it's probably a good time to start getting started on the articles here. So, what do we have on tap for tonight? So I've got basically 7 articles to go over, plus of course the wrestling roundup, and then niche history. On let me see. So we're gonna look at a article on Adam West from criticalblast.com from Bill Casticart. We also have comic side of it, some news on Mike Morecci's Barbaric, as well as some info coming out on on Poison Ivy's solo series, as well as Deadpool being back. Anime side of things, they'll be, of course, looking at some news on Pokemon Legends, some stuff about the Marduk film trilogy, and also we'll be looking at some information regarding so what was the third anime? Oh yeah, some comparisons between Chainsaw Man and the '70s anime Devilman. So without any further ado, but before we do that, I'm gonna go ahead and just try something here. Since StreamYard is being a little poopy right now. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. All right. So, anyway, let's get to the articles here. Um, so here's the first article we're going to look at today. All right. So, why Adam West is secretly everyone's favorite Batman? Now they're saying this is coming from the television section, but I found it in the comic section. So, submitted by Bill Cathcart on Monday, 8 2049 or 8:49 p.m. So, um, so here we go. In 1939, the world was forever changed by the creation of um, by the creation of the Cape Crusader Batman. Cape Crusader. Batman debuted in the 27th issue of the comic book Detective. Now, some of you may know we did cover that. Let's see, this past Friday, so this is kind of apropos. Um, Comic book Detective Comics, and soon evolved into the vigilante with a stringent moral code, as well as a sense of justice. The name Batman truly became a household name in 1966 with the creation of the live-action television series starring Adam West as Batman and Burt Ward as Robin. The series managed to bridge the gap between teenage and adult fans, um, as the show gave something to everyone. Despite only having 3 seasons and a few spin off movies, Adam West's portrayal of Batman is still beloved today, with many people still claiming that he is their favorite Batman. Ultimately, this begs the question of why this campy version of Batman favored over the darker portrayal. Now, mind you too, Adam West also lent his voice a few times to Batman in some of the animated series. So let's see, in Filmation's The New Adventures of Batman in 1977, and then again, he replaced Olan Soleil on the Super Friends cartoon, starting with actually, no, I think it was the last one, Galactic Guardians, the legendary superpower team's Galactic Guardians. That's the one where they introduced Cyborg to the Justice League. So, anyway, so let's go a little further here. A lighter side to the character. Most modern adaptations of Batman portray a tormented and troubled vigilante, and that is dealing with an enormous amount of grief throughout the comics. Batman loses many people in his life, but none of the deaths are natural or accidental. Before the story begins, Batman, as Bruce Wayne, loses both his parents in a robbery gone wrong. And I'm sure we've all seen this time and time again. This wasn't bad enough. He loses his second Robin sidekick, Jason Todd, at the brutal hands of the Joker during the death in the family storyline. This ultimately leads to many depictions of Batman and Bruce Wayne as angry, disturbed, and untrusting. The Tim Burton Batman films are gothic and dark, whilst Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight trilogy showcases an aggressive and violent Batman. There haven't really been any lighthearted versions of Batman since Adam West's portrayal, except the kooky Joel Schumacher films. Actually, in animated form, Batman Brave and the Bold actually portrayed Batman a little more lighter. Like, yes, some of the other series, like the DCAU, like Batman the Animated Series, Justice League Unlimited, even in his appearances in like Static Shock and maybe Zeta Project, Batman Beyond, the Batman, Batman 2008, a lot of those did portray Batman darker, but the one from the 2000s that portrayed him light as as the lighter character was Batman Brave and the Bold. Instead of focusing on the darker elements of his past, Adam West Batman focuses his energy on hope and justice instead of vengeance. Now, mind you, too, one other little interesting tidbit, too. Adam West also lent his voice to in an episode of Batman the Animated Series as well in the 90s as the Grey Ghost, who in that canon, Grey Ghost was somebody who kind of inspired Bruce in many ways. He kind of grew up watching the Grey Ghost television show, which was I guess their version um of huh, check into that. Anyways, all right. So, anyways, in the Batman television show with Adam West, the character is not afraid to be goofy and enjoy spending time with those he cares about. It's refreshing to have a Batman who wants to make a difference in the world, but does it with a smile. Yeah, and I'm sure many of us also grew up watching the live action Batman. If you didn't see it live back in '66 to '69, I'm sure many of you probably caught it in syndication over the years. Um, and you'd have him surrounded, as we said, focused on the focus is often on, Adam West as Bruce Wayne and um, Burt Ward portraying Dick Grayson, but you also had like Alan Napier, Stafford Rep portraying Alfred and Commissioner Gordon, and then of course you had actors like Cesar Romero, Burgess Meredith, Frank Gorshin, Vincent Price, um, Lee Merriweather, Julie Newmar, Eartha Kitt, all portraying some of the more well-known characters, well-known villains. A human Bruce Wayne. Everyone knows that Bruce Wayne is a billionaire who could rival Jeff Bezos with his amount of wealth. The later adaptations showcase Bruce Wayne as an arrogant billionaire playboy that almost seems closer to Patrick Bateman from American Psycho at times. However, Adam West's Bruce Wayne has never been showcased like this. Despite still being a billionaire, his character was stoic, clever, and confident, without ever being arrogant, which is true. I mean, the live action Batman was more, you could argue that it was probably one of the more family friendly stuff. Now, granted, it was also, in the comics at the time, it was still during the time of the Comics Code Authority, when the Comics Code Authority still had a lot of influence. So, depicting Batman in the lighthearted way was the way to go. Depicting DC characters as a whole was the way to go. Let's see. Adam West portrayed the character as kind, approachable, and mindful of those around him, with no fear of trying to inspire people where possible. Bruce Wayne in the Batman television series feels more like an actual human rather than some exaggerated, angsty fictional character. Basically, more of a relatable Batman, I think, is what they're saying with that. Um, right, so we finally did get them to acknowledge one. Thank you to whoever came in to give me a like. I hope you're enjoying the content. Oh yeah. Perfect for all ages. There's no denying that the later Batman adaptations and movies were definitely not for kids. Tim Burton's Batman and Batman Returns were incredibly dark, with horrific imagery that could scar adults. Christopher Nolan's trilogy did not contain scary visuals, but the films had a huge amount of gore and violence that was unsuitable for younger audiences. Adam West's Batman finds the right balance of campy with action to deliver something truly unique and was perfect for all ages. Whilst the show had some driving moments for children, such as championing the importance of homework and drinking milk, the show also had fun with these moments, delivering them in a humorous tone. And of course, we all know some of the sayings like, like "Great Caesar's ghost" or "Holy batarangs," right? Let's see. There's no denying that the Batman television show was comical, but it was also entertaining with a mixture of action and comedy. That was the sort of program that you could watch with your family or even by yourself, as the show is just as easy to watch. Mm-hmm. It says here, perfect for all ages. All right, so let's see. A pop culture icon. Adam West eventually became a legendary figure himself with satirical portrayals in Family Guy, The Big Bang Theory, Futurama, 30 Rock, The Kings of Queens, and The Fairly Odd Parents, to name a few. However, his portrayal of Batman did not die with the cancellation of the television show. And of course, we're going to probably be some of these I probably have already mentioned here. Shows such as The Simpsons, Animaniacs, the Superpowers Team Galactic Guardians, and Super Friends, the legendary Superpowers show, which brought back Adam West's portrayal of Batman, which I talked about the last two. They're the Superpowers Team Galactic Guardian and Super Friends legendary Superpowers show. Just before his death in 2017, he even starred as Batman in the animated film Batman vs. Two-Face, showing that the demand for his portrayal was just as strong as it was in 1966. In 2016, Adam West Batman became forever memorialized with the iGaming world, with Batman and the Riddler Riches, which led to 5 other games such as Batman and Catwoman Cash, Batman and Mr. Freeze Fortune, Batman and Batgirl Bonanza, Batman and the Joker Jewels, and Batman and the Penguin Prize. Wow, some interesting alliteration, not just alliteration, but just also content here. Linking each of the other characters with some form of evaluation. Each of these titles feature classic Batman villains facing off against Batman in a new and exciting way. Forever Batman. Forever Batman. Before Ben Affleck, Christian Bale, Kevin Conroy, and Michael Keaton, there was only one Batman. Now, for those of you who may not know, Kevin Conroy is the guy who became synonymous with voicing the animated Batman throughout the DCAU. So that was starting from the 1992 series, Batman the animated series, and through all the shows that followed from that. There was only one Batman, Adam West, was truly an icon, and he completely enriched the lives of many through his portrayal of Batman. Whilst it can be seen as a sad tale that he was typecast throughout the rest of his career as a Caped Crusader, he never saw this as a negative, completely embraced this. Well, and as I mentioned too, he may have been typecast somewhat as a Caped Crusader, and some people may even argue his portrayal of the Great Ghost might be another kind of variation of his portrayal of the Caped Crusader, of his 66 Caped Crusader, Great Ghost from that one episode of Batman the Animated Series. Adam West incorporated the humility, charisma, and charm of Bruce Wayne, embodied them into his personality. There are many reasons why Adam West is secretly everyone's favorite Batman, but it can be narrowed down mainly due to the legendary persona of Adam West. Batman is a character that will live on forever, with many iterations, but there will only be one Adam West. And that's true enough there. Anyways, there's that article. So now we'll get ready to move on to the next article here. And before I get to that, let's see. I'll be right back. I'm going to go ahead and I need to step away from the computer for a moment. I'll be right back. I'll leave some music on for you guys to listen to. All right, I'm back now. Better. Anyways, let's get on to this next article here. All right, so Barbaric co-creator says the series is too in smaller quotes nuts for Marvel or DC. Has more in the works. Um, Barbaric co-creator Michael Moretti says the series, which is soon returning for a second volume, might be too in smaller quotes nuts to be published by Marvel or DC. Article by Brandon Schwer, published 13 hours ago. Barbaric co-creator Michael Moretti thinks the series might be too quote unquote nuts to be published by Marvel or DC. Um, in an interview with Spectales, with the Spectales podcast, Moretti was asked if there was a point when he knew Barbaric was going to be a hit. Quote, when we were making it, I think we started feeling really confident, he answered. Quote, when, in brackets, artist and co-creator Nathan Gooden started turning in pages, especially, and we saw Nate has done a lot of great work prior to Barbaric, but once he saw Barbaric, once we saw Barbaric, we were like, on smaller quote, wow. He was so into it. He was so thrilled with the idea. He loved it so much, unquote. Huh. Moretti continued to say he's been thrilled, quote unquote, with the response Barbaric has received, even if it has somewhat come as a surprise. Quote, at the same time, I kind of get it, unquote, he said. Quote, it kind of makes sense to me. Barbaric came out at a time, and it still goes out at a time where it's like, I feel like everything is kind of, we live in this weird conservative culture, especially with the mainstream, the big two. They're trying to earnestly they're trying to be earnestly good and do these kind of, how do I say this, they're trying to have good messages, but it feels so strict and it feels so redundant. Yeah, basically I think it's his criticism of the wokeness going on, it would seem. um yeah Everything feels so conservative and so tight. We just want to do something that's like nuts, bracket something that's just like a metal album that's, if Motley Crue came and just spewed onto a comic, that's what Barbaric is. I think Um, People wanted that. It's just fun. It's bloody. It's stupid. It's vile, and it's violent. Getting all that in there, right? I think people love that because that's what so much of the comics tradition is. I think we've kind of forgotten that that's what I grew up on. That's the stuff I love. I love Preacher. I love Conan. This is the stuff I love. Comics in brackets are not TV. It's not made for 30 million or 10 million people. Um, where you have to play it down, the middle or whatever. Comics in brackets are supposed to be nuts. Comics are in brackets supposed to be big, bold, and audacious. And I think we've lost that. Well, it makes kind of makes an interesting point there. Maybe they have, when you got the two big two trying to sit there and agenda push everything, and that's why people have gone to more independent comics routes. That's why you see like people like Ethan Van Sciver and Young Ripa and even some of our closer buddies like Rick Piper, like Chris Tomolovich, like Mike Jimmy, Lauren DeBroom, like Mike Barron, like Gabe Elty, all these guys are just doing a lot of the more, a lot more independent stuff. Let's see. Barbaric launched in 2021 from Vault Comics. The series follows Owen the Barbarian and Axe, a magical talking weapon, as they wander. So imagine this: you're going around with an axe that talks to you. That's got to be something. That's got to be interesting. Wonder what that axe would be saying. Let me chop something up. I need to chop something up. I need to chop something up. Ah. As they wander through a world full of witches, monsters, and more. The series is returning for a second volume, Barbaric Axe to Grind. Interesting title. On August 17th, so that would be a week from today, in fact. Moretti teased further Barbaric installment are also currently in the works. In brackets, Gooden is going right into in brackets volume 3, and then we have plans for 4. He said, "Quote: There is not going to be another gap like there was before. 3 is going to happen. I don't know exactly when, but it's not going to be a big delay at all. We're going to be real quick to come right with in brackets volume 3." Unquote. Well, I would hope that if Mike Moretti is watching this, if he happens to catch this plug-in, I hope he would contact Critical Button, contact RJ Carter, see if he can get on his show to promote his book. Sure, RJ would be very happy to help him promote his book. If actually he's doing it through a company called Vault Comics. So, anyways, there we go with that one. All right. So with that, let's go ahead and get ready to move on to the next article here. All right. So this is the next article I was going to look at here. Poison Ivy solo series. Poison Ivy solo series scores a second arc from DC. Okay. Anyways. All right. So, DC Comics announces that Poison Ivy solo series by writer G. Willow Wilson and artist Marcio Takara will return for a second story arc in December. Article by Brendan Schwer, published 10 hours ago. Chill, baby, chill. So Poison Ivy is getting a second story arc from DC. DC announced the Poison Ivy solo series by writer G. Willow Wilson and Marcio Takara is getting a second 6-issue story arc following the completion of the series' first 6 issues. Artist Adagun Ilhan, a graduate of DC's Milestone Initiative, will make his DC debut with Poison Ivy number 7 and 8, with Takara then returning to the series in Poison Ivy number 9. So they're giving one of their younger talents a chance to come in and do a couple issues before bringing the regular artist back. Launching this past June, Poison Ivy follows Pamela Isley as she leaves Gotham City and embarks on a journey to cleanse the earth of humanity's wrongdoings, which is a common story for her. Let's see. When it comes to pollution, waste, and environmental matters, Poison Ivy number 6 releases November 1st and comes from Wilson Takara, with cover art by Jessica Fong, and variant cover art by Warren Lowe, Jenny Frison, and Zoe Thorogood. Here are some images here. Poison Ivy number 7 follows on December 6th from Wilson and Ilhan, with cover art by Fong, and variant cover art by Joshua Middleton and Lyrics. DC said the new story arc will send Ivy on a brand new mission after she receives a, quote, renewed outlook on life and a burgeoning new purpose. Okay. This isn't obviously the Harley and Ivy stuff going on. This is just going back to the core of who Poison Ivy is. So, along with following Ivy on her quest to punish humanity, the solo series also focuses on the characters. Okay, so I guess I was wrong then. They are going to bring in kind of the relationship with Harley Quinn on it. Relationship with Harley Quinn. Quote, this is in many ways a love story, unquote, Wilson previously said. Quote, I feel like that's not giving too much away because she says so on the very first page of the book. So I think fans of the Harley Ivy romance will be pleased because I think there's no question that her relationship with Harley is now the central defining relationship of this character. Speaking of evolution, she's evolved out of being a straight up villain whose sole job is to thwart Batman to someone who has her own identity, her own story arc, and her own individual relationships with other people in the Batverse, completely independent of Batman and the Bat Family. I think that's really fascinating. Unquote. All right, I'm going to step away from the computer for a moment here before I finish off this article. I think I need to bring in a little more light here, so I'll be back. I'm going to go ahead and I'm back and let's see. It's just my comment, I guess. Okay. All right. So here's the last of the article here on this one. Um, Created by Robert Kanier and Carmine Infantino, Poison Ivy debuted 1966's Batman number 181. Ivy was depicted as an antagonist to Batman for several decades. However, DC's more recent continuity has depicted her as more of an anti-hero trying to protect Earth from humans' negligence. Ivy has appeared in several live-action projects, including Batman and Robin, played by Uma Thurman, Batwoman, played by Bridget Regan, and more. The author stars in the Harley Quinn animated series, HBO Max, where she's voiced by Liz Bell. Okay, so there we go with that one. Yeah, and coming up on 55 minutes. So, here. So moving on to the next article here then. All right, so here we go. So now we did a little bit of DC there, so now we're going to look at stuff from so. All right, so here we go. This will be the last comic article we're going to cover tonight, of course. Deadpool's back. Marvel announces a new series with a merc with for the merc with a mouth. The merc with the mouth. The mouth is marking his return as Marvel announces a new ongoing Deadpool series from writer Alyssa Wong and artist Martin Colo. Article by Brian Stewart, published hours ago. And I think Deadpool, of course, was was Marvel's answer to Deathstroke. DC's Deathstroke. So the Merc with a Mouth is returning for a new Deadpool series launching from Marvel Comics later this year. Deadpool's next adventure begins in a new ongoing series by the writer Alyssa Wong from Star Wars, Dr. Aphra, and Iron Fist, and artist Martin Coccolo, Hulk vs. Thor, Banner of War. Launching in November from Marvel, Deadpool will follow the notorious loudmouth mercenary on a journey involving grossed out body horror, unexpected romance, and more. The synopsis for the first issue reads, quote, the world knows Wade Wilson is one of the top mercenary assassins in the Marvel Universe, even if he is simultaneously the most annoying man. It sounds like he's one of those guys who just, you know, even if, you know, even if he wasn't trying to kill you, he'd probably kill you by talking to you. That's almost probably sounds like what they're getting at here. But he's pushing to make that recognition official as the auditions for the elite group known as Atelier. Now he has 48 hours to kill one of the world's most famous supervillains. Only problem, he's been kidnapped, and something strange is growing inside him. Uh, it almost sounds similar to a plot that they played out on Central League Unlimited with Deadshot. Played a lot. Um, quote, I love chaos, unquote, Wong said of the new series. Quote, and what is Deadpool if not chaos incarnate? Um, I'm honored to take the reins for Wade's next solo adventure. Um, expect romance, expect body horror, expect a wild time, unquote, Piccolo added. Quote, some time ago, I got to do a 10-page story for Deadpool Black, White, and Blood. It was an awesome, albeit short experience, which left me wanting for more. So I guess he's Piccolo talking about. So when I was asked if I wanted to take the reins of a new Deadpool series, I responded with a resounding yes. Then I got to read Alyssa's script, and I loved it. Their script is inventive, dynamic, and a lot of fun, and working with Alyssa is an absolute joy. They are the best, so I honestly couldn't be happier with opportunity, and I think, or at least hope, that readers notice how fun this project is for everyone involved, and hopefully they hop on the ride with us. Created by Fabian Nicieza and Rob Liefeld, Deadpool Wade Wilson first appeared in 1991 in New Mutants number 98, equipped with regenerative powers and a tendency to never stop talking. A fourth wall breaking character has been featured in a number of X-Men comics and storylines, as well as his own solo series and other titles over the years. From what I understand, Deadpool, I think, is one of Wolverine's arch enemies, from what I understand. I think in some respects, Deadpool and Wolverine have a very similar relationship to maybe Deathstroke and Batman, or Green Arrow, maybe that's, um, over the years. Most recently, Deadpool has appeared in Deadpool Bad Blood, a four-issue series released earlier this year, reprinting a 2017 graphic novel of the same name. Deadpool number one features cover art by Coccolo. The issue goes on sale November 2nd from Marvel. Alrighty. There we go with that one. So now we'll get into some anime articles here. A Merc with a Mouth. All right, so this is gonna be the next article we're gonna look at here. All right, so there we go. Alrighty then, so there we go. All right, so here we go. The first of the anime articles we're gonna be looking at here. Okay, so Pokemon Legends Arceus inspires a new animated special exclusive to Netflix. The Pokemon Company, also known as TPCI, reveals a trailer for Pokemon The Arceus Chronicles, a new animated special slated to hit Netflix in September. Article by Noah Dominguez, published 1 day ago. Well, initially it was still within inside of 24 hours, so we're still gonna try and do it. I had already decided on it. The Pokemon Company International has officially announced Pokemon The Arceus Chronicles, a new animated special inspired by the video game Pokemon Legends Arceus. It's slated to arrive on Netflix later this year. Pokemon The Arceus Chronicles is scheduled to premiere worldwide, excluding Asia, on Netflix on Friday, September 23rd. Inspired by the popular Pokemon Legends Arceus video game, the special follows Ash, his Pikachu, and friends as they adventure and explore the Sinnoh region. Quote, the Pokemon Company explains. The special evidently spins out of the Netflix distributed Pokemon Master Journeys, the series, given the similar animation style and presence of Ash's co protagonist Go. That's the sign of the. There's some images here. That looks like Dawn right there with her the little penguin buddy there. Quote, a visit to the Sinnoh region turns into a high stakes adventure when Ash, Pikachu, and friends join forces with powerful Pokemon to confront a looming threat, unquote. An official synopsis reads, quote, when Ash, Go, and Dawn receive a mysterious message from the mythical Pokemon Arceus, they meet up with Brock and head to Mount Coronet to investigate. There, they find a rampaging Heatran and the commanders of Team Galactic, who are determined to find their missing leader by opening a gate between dimensions. With a trio of legendary Pokemon and Sinnoh champion Cynthia on their side, our heroes have lots of help, but they'll need all they can get to save Sinnoh from being destroyed. Mm-hmm. Prior to the animated special's Netflix debut, Pokemon The Arceus Chronicles will premiere at a special screening event at the 2022 Pokemon World Championship in London on Friday, August 19th. That's next Friday, of course. Guests will be admitted to the screening on a first come, first served basis. Pokemon The Arceus Chronicles was initially announced late last year as a 4-episode anime special titled Arceus Who is Called a God. The special was announced by Amazon's Japanese website due to the fact that Prime Video streams Pokemon Master Journeys in the franchise's native Japan. Earlier this year, the Pokemon Company also announced an anime series based on Pokemon Legends Arceus, um, though this is a separate project entirely. Pokemon Legends Arceus takes players into the past. Developed by Game Freak and published by Nintendo and the Pokemon Company, Pokemon Legends Arceus was released exclusively on the Nintendo Switch last January. The game sends the player character back in time, allowing them to embark on a journey across the Hisui region, which would eventually come to be known as the Sinnoh region, and help create the very first Pokedex. Pokemon Legends Arceus released on the Switch just 2 months after developer Ilka's Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl remakes of Game Freak's Pokemon Diamond and Pearl. Original Diamond and Pearl released for the Nintendo DS in North America 2007, introducing players to the Sinnoh region for the very first time. Pokemon The Arceus Chronicles premieres September 23rd on Netflix. So there we go with that one. Here's the next article we're going to look at here. The Marduk anime film trilogy is worth the time investment. All right. So, anyways, let's go ahead and take a look at this. All right. So, giving the cyberpunk genre an artistic and colorful makeover, the Marduk movie trilogy was an underrated, brisk, and deliberate watch for anime fans. Article by Timothy Donahoe, published 13 hours ago. There are numerous cyberpunk anime around, with the Ghost in the Shell movie and TV shows being some of the most well-known examples. Perhaps even more breathtaking and experimental that than that franchise, however, is the Murdoch Scramble movie trilogy. Um, Based on a series of novels, these movies are easily some of the most artistic cyberpunk anime movies out there, featuring a desperate young lady who is turned into a cyborg following a harrowing altercation. Murdoch Scramble combines strong characterization, um, a deliberate, intimate pace, and absolutely astounding art. The final movie in the series came out a decade ago, making it more appropriate than ever to reflect on this overlooked, beautiful revenge orgy. I'm going to need to step away from the computer for a moment. I'll be right back. Um, I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. So let's get back into this article here. What was Murdoch Scramble? Murdoch Scramble began as a series of novels written by To Ubukata, with the first book coming out in 2003. Would later be adapted into a manga and, and an anime movie trilogy, with with more novels coming out afterward. The story is based around Rune Below, the former Lady of the Night in Murdoch City, um, who unfortunately became the victim of a gambling addict, Shell Septinos, left for dead after after an explosion caused by shell, Rune is taken in by Dr. Easter, turning her into a cyborg like himself. Rune is gifted with her new assistant, um, to, to, to cook an AI, an AI that usually takes the form of a mouse. Now far advanced beyond mere humanity, Rune seeks to avoid Shell's machinations long enough to testify against them. A planned adaptation of the novel series was going to be an OVA produced by Gonzo. Though this was eventually canceled, a movie trilogy was announced in 2010 with Gohan animating the film, and Aniplex, who had worked on franchises such as Fullmetal Alchemist and isekai anime like Sword Art Online, producing them. Written by Ubukata himself, these movies are all around 70 minutes each. The time link speaks to how interesting the movies are and why they're worth the time for any cyberpunk film. Basically, if you like what they're saying, is if you like cooking the show, you'll probably like this one too. I think that's where they're going with it. All right, so here we go. Let's moving on to the next part of the article here. The Marduk trilogy is a cyberpunk art extravaganza. As mentioned, each Marduk movie is barely over an hour, which is part of what makes them so unique. Each movie, in parentheses here, the first compression, the second combustion, and the third exhaust. So all kind of heat references there too. Compression, combustion, and exhaust. Okay. Segue right into each other, and none of them can be considered a full movie story separate. Um, so basically, if you're going to see one of these films, you need to see all three for it to make ultimate sense. This allows viewers to watch all of them together to get a whole story. But rewatching won't be a simple matter of plowing through them. The artistry of the Marduk trilogy stems from how they're shot, with every set scene feeling very uneasy, intentional, and introspective. This developed um, this developed the characters and the plot in quiet, sometimes almost unnoticeable ways. Scenes have to be carefully paid attention to, lest vital information that will pay off in a later film go ignored. Focus on character and subtle development elevate what could easily become a generic revenge flick, a sort of Kill Bill redux wearing a Ghost in the Shell skin. All right, that's kind of an interesting analogy there. On this note, Marduk Scramble is just as revolutionary in the art department as Ghost in the Shell was before it. Themes and characters feel framed in the movie's uncanny use of lighting, giving everything an almost claustrophobic neo noir aesthetic. The miasma of colors coincides nicely with how quiet everything else seems at times, making the trilogy an experience unlike any other cyberpunk anime. Sadly, series isn't currently on streaming sites such as Crunchyroll, but Amazon is one way to purchase Blu-rays of each movie. So basically, you have to actually get the hard copy in order to see it. Is I think what they're saying there. And we do have one more article to go over. This one right here. Okay, so we're coming up on an hour and a half. All right. Okay, so here we go. Okay, I'm gonna need to turn on the light. I'm gonna probably go off camera here for another moment. I'll be right back. Oh, looks like we have another person here. Hello. I'll be right back. Just gotta turn on. Now, if I see there's another person here, so if you did that, can like and share the stream so we can get some more friendly people on here. That'd be appreciated. Um, and if you have anything you want to say about what we're covering, feel free to comment or ask questions. And if I can answer the question, I'll do that. Anyways, getting back to so the, our last article we're going to go through tonight. My classic 70s anime paved the way for Chainsaw Man's success. Chainsaw Man has quickly become a modern classic, and its success story shared many similarities to another devilish action horror series, Devilman. Article by Anna Williams, published 3 hours ago. Okay, so let's see what Anna has to say about. Warning: the following article. Oh, okay. Never mind, then. I should have read more into that, but anyways, yeah. So we're not going to do that article then because it's got spoilers in it. And I don't do spoilers. So, anyways, um, just gonna check something here real quick. So with that, we'll probably moment here hit on our wrestling wrap up. We've already gone through the. If you want to go back, we went through some articles earlier, so if you want to go back and look those up or listen to my commentary on those and get the information from those, you can do that. we'll do the wrestling wrap up here in a moment. Just give me a second. Okay. All right. So yeah. So with that, okay. So now we're gonna go ahead and do the wrestling wrap up. We're about an hour and a half into this. So first off, on the WWE end of it, so the big news that came out today is apparently there was some more money that apparently wasn't necessarily accounted for in the SEC filings for the last few years. Some more money that were claimed as personal expenses by Vince McMahon. Um, Now, as to whether or not this particular money is hush money or not, they're not saying. But the WWE is continuing their investigation into these matters. As you guys know, John Laurinaitis has already been fired. Um, and so so he's already been fired for that. Among some other news, of course, Miro, Miro, who was known as Rusev a few years ago in the WWE, has come out and stated that he does not intend to, even when his contract's up, does not intend to return to WWE. Reason is that he's kind of at that point in his career where he wants to start moving on from the pro wrestling scene, possibly to becoming an actor more. He's been taking some acting classes on the side. Also, he doesn't necessarily want to be working the WWE schedule. He likes working the schedule that he's got now with AEW. So that's what's also going on there. And speaking of AEW in this wrap up here, so tonight on Dynamite, they're having their Quake by the Lake up in Minnesota event. The main event is seeing Jon Moxley defending the interim World Heavyweight Championship against Chris Jericho. Also, Jade Cargill is defending the TBS Championship against Madison Rayne. And as previously mentioned, too, we also know that Darby Allin is taking on Brody King in a casket match, or not a casket match, but a coffin match, in which you have to basically place your opponent into the coffin and then close the lid on them. And then in a tornado tag match, you have the Lucha Brothers of Ray Phoenix and Penta. And I think his last, I can't, he's gone back to an older name he used, but Penta taking on the team now known as La Facción Inconmobile. Hopefully I got that all. It is the tag team of Andre El Idolo and Wolf. Now, a couple matches that have apparently been added over the last couple days include Absolute Ricky Starks taking on Aaron Solo. And Aaron Solo is upset that Ricky Starks did not take the factory's offer up to join them. They're recruiting Ricky Starks to join that factory. I think Ricky Starks has basically made it clear that since the disbanding of Team Taz, he now intends to go on his own, especially after he was attacked by his former partner Pop. He's not keen on the faction. A lot of people are not keen on the faction, mind you, as they have definitely shown. As they have definitely shown that they want to expand. They most recently, of course, added Cole Carter to the group. Um, anyway, so so now they're looking to, they were trying to expand with Ricky Stark there, and we're unable to get him to come in. Now Solo's going to be so their match coming up tonight, and then also in another match that was added, I think today, Luchasaurus will be taking on Anthony Henry of the Wingmen. So that's the lineup for tonight. Um, tonight Dynamite as they continue to build towards the All Out pay per view coming up in a few weeks here on Sunday, September 4th. Also, we have a couple other interesting announcements. So first off, we have to report a bit of a passing, and I didn't even realize he was even still alive. But Gene LaBelle, former professional wrestler and MMA mixed martial artist, who was known for much of his work throughout the 40s and 50s, and then also along with his brother would run the NWA Hollywood promotion throughout the 50s and 60s. He passed away today at the age of 88. In more recent years, he was known for escorting Ronda Rousey out to her MMA matches, but as such, he was also known as a trainer over the years, and as I said, as a promoter with his brother Mike LaBelle in the 50s and 60s, where the likes of Freddie Blassie, Riki Dozan from Japan, um, Antonio Rocca would all come in and wrestle in the in the Southern California area. Um, Initially during their time as World Wrestling Associates before they became before they came back again, before they became NWA affiliate in the late '60s there. So um, so we're gonna do a little moment of silence here for Gene LaBelle, who passed away today at the age of 89. Okay. Now, one other piece of news that was announced today as well is it's possible that Mickey James has decided to retire. So her last match she wrestled in was in a loss Chelsea Green. Now she, of course, along with her husband Nick Aldis, have been working in the NWA as well, and uh, Aldis is still, of course, working as a wrestler as well. They've been both working as producers um, there as well in the NWA. Whatever you want to call them, producers, agents, handlers, whatever. But she's not. Apparently, she's not wrestled anywhere since. Now apparently on Impact after her loss to Chelsea Green, she basically said she was going home. Now, whether or not this is an angle or if she is deciding to retire, Nikki James has been wrestling. Mickey James has been wrestling since 1999. On the independent scene, she started out as Alexis Lurie, and then, of course, came to the WWF as Mickey James, as basically a Trish Stratus fan, had a bit of a career in WWE, then went to TNA and had found success there. She and then came to NWA in more recent times. But basically, Mickey James has found success as a multi-time and multi-organization world women's champion. She's held the WWE World Women's Championship. She's held the Impact World Championship, Knockouts Championship. So and also, of course, about a month ago, Matthew Rainwald, who is a commentator with Impact, who wrestled in WWE as Aiden English, also announced his in-ring retirement. So, so yeah. So now it's not confirmed if Mickie James is actually retired or just some angle they're playing up here. But she hasn't been active on the wrestling side of things for at least a month here. I think her last match, as mentioned, was on Impact in a match against Chelsea Green, in which she lost. So I guess we'll just wait to see what happens with things continue to develop there. Um, so with that, now that we've done the wrestling wrap up, um, let's, let's talk back here. I'll mention I'll mention the Impact, emergence tomorrow night on mention there are, of course, over the next few weeks, like this Friday, Impact Wrestling will be having its um, emergence pay per view at Cicero Stadium in Chicago. As I mentioned earlier, All Out will be happening in Chicago as well on September 4th. And in between those two events, of course, the NWA will be having its 74th anniversary event the weekend of August 27th and 28th. Um, and of course, as we get closer to that, we'll talk more about stuff going on there. So, as we are getting closer to the end here, probably a good time to start winding things down here. Um, and, as anybody wants to come in and ask any questions or anything like that. But with that, good time to start wrapping things up. So we'll go. So today being Wednesday, August the 10th, 2022, let's go ahead and take a look back at this day in news history. History! So first off, go back 20 years ago today to 2002. And on this day in 2002, from from Viking Hall in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Combat Zone Wrestling would have its No Excuses event happening. And the main event saw a fans bring the weapons match between Wife Beater and Lobo, in which Wife Beater won. In a match for the CZW Tag Team Championship, Hate Club, Nate Hatred and Nick Gage retained over the Rocchies, Adam Flash and Danny Rose. In a match for the Combat Zone Wrestling World Heavyweight title, Justice Payne would retain over Billy Fives. Let's see, anything else? In a War Games match, the Lost Boys of Azrael and Gabriel, teaming up with TNT, Todd Sexton, and Tony Stradlin, defeated Nick Burke, the Backseat Boys of Johnny Cashman and Trent Acid, and Ty Street. In a loser leaves CZW match, Ian Knox defeated Eddie Valentine. And then the night started off with a three-way tag team match in which the new school of Chris Cash and GQ defeated Derek Frazier and Sanjay Dutt, the same Sanjay Dutt who's currently managing um, Jay Lethal in AEW, and the super heavyweights, the Hurricane Kid and Talboy, with Rick Feinberg in their corner. So that all happened on this day 20 years ago in Philadelphia. Also, 2002 is just so nice that we're gonna hit it twice. As also on this date in 2002, the Zeta Project would be canceled on Kids WB. So on this date in 2002, The Zeta Project was canceled. They aired its last episode on Kids WB, aside from reruns, of course. So it aired its final first run episode on the date 2002. So it lasted basically for one season, basically, from what I understand. So, and also, on this date 16 years ago in 2005, the 830th issue of Action Comics went on sale on this date back in 2005, 16 years ago. Sold for $2.50, 40 pages. The story was The Great Society, written by Gail Simone, penciled by John L. Byrne, inked by Larry Stucker and Nelson Ferro de Castro, lettered by Patrick Brousseau, and Guy Major did the coloring. So on this date, 16 years ago today, Action Comics number 30 went on sale with the story The Great Society. So with that, thank everybody for being here. Let's see. To remind everybody, of course, on this Friday, I'll have RJ Carter from Critical Blast with me as we look back to August of 1939. Or I'm sorry, not August, of April of 1939. This week we'll be looking at comics that went on sale from Centaur Comic, and the Amazing Mystery Funnies, I believe issue number 9. Keen Detective Stories, as well as Star Comics. We'll be looking at features such as Skyrocket Steel and Air Sub DX. Let's see. What else? And don't forget to come back tomorrow for more niche news and niche news coverage and all that. So, with that, I thank everybody for being here tonight. I hope to see everybody back here tomorrow. And I will talk to y'all later. Bye.